Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thanks for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you would like me to do for my next video. So today we are going to be talking about 5 facts about the Fender Telecaster. Nice bolt-on neck there. So, number 1. It was originally called the Esquire back in the 1950s. Pretty much 1950 right on the dot, and it was basically just a Telecaster, except it was missing the bridge pickup and it did not have a truss rod. Only about, I think, 50 to 60 of these guys were made because there was a lot of neck issues and nobody wanted to deal with them because obviously there was no way to adjust the neck in order to play it well without massive amount of buzzing. So then in the later 50s, it was changed to the Broadcaster. They introduced a neck pickup and they introduced a truss rod as well. So it originally debuted as the Broadcaster. However, Leo Fender got a lawsuit on his front porch saying that we own the right to this. If you don't change the name, we are going to sue you. So he decided that instead of dealing with the lawsuit and fighting it, blah, 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 he decided, let's just rip off the name Telecaster from the logo. So then we are into the no-casters, is what they call them, for a few years. Basically, it just said Fender. There was no Telecaster on the headstock. It just specifically said Fender. And then in 1952, the Telecaster was finally born. It was finally put on the headstock that it was indeed a Fender Telecaster. Number 2, the guitar was made to be as cheap as possible so it could be easily mass-produced. If you notice, there are no cuts, no contours in the front or the back. It is just a slab of wood, and it is a bolt-on neck. The idea behind that was it was easier to produce a bolt-on neck, or technically it's a screw-on neck, but they call it a bolt-on neck. It was easier to produce that than doing a set neck, and then if anything ever happened to the neck or the frets, the idea was you could just pop the neck off, put a new neck on, and be good to go, continue about your day. Number 3, the classic bridge pickup tone doesn't come from just the pickup itself. It comes from the entire bridge assembly in this metal chunk. Most guitars, it's either in plastic or it is directly mounted into the wood. They don't have this whole metal assembly around it, and that is what gives you that classic Telecaster tone. So even if, example, you were to put the Telecaster bridge pickup in a Stratocaster, you would not get the same noise because you don't have this giant hunk of metal around it. There is one Stratocaster that is a signature model where it sounds similar, but not exactly the same, where underneath the pickguard they actually did mount a piece of metal in order to get more of that Telecaster tone out of the Stratocaster. But yet again, without this particular bridge, you are not going to get the same exact tone. Number 4, there was actually a bass Telecaster in the late 50s. It looked like a Telecaster. Obviously, it was a longer neck, but it had a double cut. So this technically might have been one of the, or is possibly the first double cut guitar. Basically, it had a similar cut like this with a longer horn on this end of the guitar. This was the inspiration for the Fender Stratocaster, this double cut design, and then eventually the basses all ended up going towards that double cut design. Number 5, for almost 20 years, Telecasters and Stratocasters both had what was called an ashtray or a bridge cover. And this would cover the entire bridge. I'll make sure to get a picture for you guys in the video. It would cover the entire bridge of the guitar in order to give the bridge pickup a different sound and a nice place to rest your hand. However, a lot of people did not like it. They either didn't like the feel of it, or they were annoyed because you couldn't palm mute the guitar, which basically means your hand is resting on the strings so you can mute certain strings when you need to. With this cover on, you weren't able to do that, so many people just ended up ripping it off, and to this day, they never really fixed that design particularly. I know many guitars you will see where the little hex screws here are sticking up too high and it eats into your hand. So a lot of people end up modifying them and cutting off the tops of those hex screws in order to have a comfortable position for their hand on the bridge of the guitar. And also, on the old guitars, it is extremely rare to find those ashtrays because, as I said, they were taken off. They were used as a literal ashtray. Many people did when smoking was more readily acceptable in the world. Or they were pretty much just thrown away, discarded. So if you ever find an old Strat and it has one of those ashtrays, be sure to buy it because it's going to be worth more money if you can afford it. Same with the Telecaster. It'll be worth more money if it has that original ashtray. A bonus that I'm going to throw in for you guys is how to tell the difference between a Mexican, right here, Mexican Fender Stratocaster, and a Squier. A lot of people on eBay, what they will do is, because they can make a lot more money doing it, they will go out and buy themselves a Fender Mexican neck and throw it on a Squier body. Then they will sell the Squier neck for 20-30 bucks, and they will lie and tell you that it is a made in Mexican Fender Telecaster, when in reality it is a Squier with a Mexican neck. So the easiest way to do this is obviously look at the neck to make sure it's a real neck. It'll say MIM Made in Mexico on it on the front or back. It will have the correct Fender tuners, won't have some sort of cheap tuners. They're all CNC'd, so if you can pop the pick guard off, if they allow you to take the screws out of the pick guard, take it off, and you're going to be looking for a few holes right around this general area. And this goes for Strats too. This way you'll know it is 100% a real Telecaster or a real Mexican Stratocaster, and you're not getting a Squier with a Mexican neck. Thank you for watching. My name is Steve Gray, and as always, have a good one.